Oh, Carla, look at her. You got to get Carla on this, man. Why are you pointing like she's like doing what is that?
The running man.
The running man. The running man. Welcome to Do the Work podcast. I am your host, AZ Araujo, and I'm here with the lovely
Carla Araujo.
Miss Carla Araujo. And, today's subject is spicing things up. But before we get going.
Just like my dance right now.
Yeah, it was a sexy dance.
I know, thank you.
A little aggressive, a little out of tune.
Too much for you?
No, it's not.
Can't handle that?
But before we proceed, I want to remind you to subscribe, rate, and review. Go to your favorite podcast provider and just simply type in Do the Work, and we will pop up number 1. And we're here to talk about marriage and spicing things up. As you will see for the Facebook audience here, we're pre-recording this for our podcast. I have my necklace out right now. I feel like I got a lot of swag,
I like
you know?
it. It's
yeah, like you start thinking about the
cute.
guys that have their necklaces out, you know, with the big piece on there. You usually think about these guys that have game,
I'm picturing
you
you with that necklace and no shirt on.
Dude, I am pretty sexy when it comes to that. But, you know, it just kind of gives you that swag. We lose it as we get older, right? We're more reserved. We tuck it in. But lately, Carla, like over the last month or so, I've been just sporting it like this. Like, you know, I'm some teenage or 20-year-old kid.
I love it.
And it feels pretty damn good, you know.
Yeah.
I'm walking with some swag.
I love it.
Because, I got game.
Yeah, your jeans are even a little tighter.
The jeans are tight. Shirt is tight.
Yeah.
Like, I got game.
You do. I got it.
I got game. And you know, that's the whole point of how much confidence we can get when we're in tune with our spouses, right? We do the right things for ourselves first and foremost, right? Mm-hmm. Working like I've been working out like a beast. I'm a triathlete. Mm-hmm. I can officially say that I'm a triathlete. I work out hard, and I look at my wife, and she's looking hot. She's looking good, and things have been progressing. But we want to talk about spicing things up, right? Mm-hmm. And what we've done over the last month or so.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted by
my looks.
By your looks.
Yeah, I'm sexy.
You're looking so fine over there.
You know, we're in tune right now.
We are.
Things are looking good.
But let's be real, it doesn't last.
Why do you have to like burst my bubble? I like where we're at right now.
I do too, but it's not like this all the time.
Well, because you mess things up all the time.
Why do I want you to stay this way.
It's your
I want
attitude.
you to walk around with that necklace like that.
It's your attitude. It's like killing the ball right now. We're like on a high. And then you're waiting for me to say something so you could be pissed off at me.
I am. I'm waiting because this is not consistent.
That's called an upper limit. That means you cannot take goodness long enough. So you have to sabotage it somehow.
Yeah, dang. Yeah, you're right.
That's on you, dude.
Yeah, I know. And we do, and this happens a lot. It happens a lot.
It happens
and,
a lot.
You know, you have great date nights, romance,
I want to get into
things up, and then all of a sudden, it's like things are just too good that we start to dab a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
you're like, why'd you have to bring that up? I'm like, I don't know.
You have to bring up the past.
I don't know.
You have to talk about something I did before trying to trigger me.
Or when like you're talking sweet nothings in my ear and I'm just like, man, this is nice. It's nice. It's romantic. It's cute, but it's not going to last. It's like, why not just enjoy the moment?
Enjoy the moment. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm already like wanting to start a fight.
You are. But let's talk about our date nights. Like, we switched things up a little bit.
Oh, we did. I'm so excited to talk about this one.
Yeah,
I'd love to announce that now we have a location for our date nights.
We have an endpoint to our date nights. So it all started.
We decided to invest in ourselves.
Yes.
In our relationship.
To
so make
check
things
this out.
spicy, no more hotels.
So check this out. Like, it all started. We had this date night thing going. But, our date nights were like, hey, let's just go how we were. T-shirt, jeans. No big deal. Let's just go and find something to do. But lately, we've been putting more emphasis on it, which means dressing up. Like, I didn't realize how much that impacts, right? The mood.
Well, I think
when we dress up, because I'm a jeans and T-shirt kind of guy.
I know that's what I was. I think that's where this goes because we do date. We don't like to call it date nights because it's not. We just go out. We spend a lot of time together, so it's not like it's date nights.
Well, it is. We do call it date nights.
We try to when was the last time we? Yeah, we do, but it's not like it's let's go on a date night. It's like hey, you want to go watch a movie? Yeah, okay. You want to go out to dinner? Okay, but we never really take the detail behind it of like let's get dressed, let's make reservations. We don't go all out to do that. But lately we're like, it became we were on the same page. We're like, hey, let's switch things up a little bit. Well, what do you want to do different? Well, let's start making reservations. Let's start getting dressed. Let's start doing all these other things. And then we ran into a location.
Yeah. So check this out. So like one of the things that, it forced me to do is like to kind of pull out the nice clothes that I wear, that I used to wear often, And it used to be a time, Carla, that was just my thing, always getting dressed up to the nines and doing that. And same thing for you, always wearing in heels, nice shirt. And now we became so confident in being who we are that we just always dress and, like you have your signature look. I have either a polo or a t-shirt that I always wear. And it's like that's been the thing. But now when we have to, like the last couple date nights, you look so good. You wear your dresses, you wear your skirts, more revealing things, and it really gets me to really appreciate you even more. I'm not saying it's all based on looks, but it gets me excited about going out with you because I know how good you're gonna look. And like me busting out my necklace, I'm feeling pretty good as well. And it makes you smile because I'm coming in with some new confidence, but. I think this is the first step, right, into like really making this work is like deciding this is a big deal, like kind of like if we were just dating.
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, we didn't plan on it happening this way, I guess, but it was more of a discussion like let's switch things up a little bit. Let's make things a little bit more sweet. It wasn't like let's start getting dressed up. I don't know how to explain it, but it all started. Well, let me go back to how it all started. We ended up purchasing a condo years ago, and we ended up now fixing it up. We kind of remodeled it and we furnished it now. And it was such a funny joke when we were in the condo and we were looking at each other, and we were like, "Hey, this is actually a really good investment. Let's keep it
in our marriage."
Yeah. So we went this route and we made a decision on this night. So we ended up going out one night and we had to go somewhere where we had to dress up. And so we did. And we looked at each other and we were like, hey, we really like being in the moment of like looking at each other like, wow, you're in a dress. You're really handsome.
I got my shirt, my button-up shirt all the way down to like my belly button. So I'm showing like muscle, my chest and stuff.
But this was different because... Right. This was different because we do those. We do go to weddings. We go to events. We get dressed up all the time. It's not that we don't. And this was a little different. We got dressed up and then we got in the Uber and we looked at each other and we're like, hey, let's go to the condo.
Well, I think
so. We ended up that night, at the end of the night, fun night. We went to dinner and everything, and then we ended up at the condo. And that's when we made a decision. I think we were both on the same page. Like, we need to do this and invest. So this condo became kind of an investment in our relationship.
It's kind of like a little secret hideaway type of thing, right? Because, when you come home, you have kids at home. It's still your home. Right. There's still a lot of, like, responsibilities at home. But when you got a nice little investment, kind of like a hotel. Like, I think it just started about a month ago.
Home away from home. So it wasn't like the let's dress up kind of, it didn't even start that way. It started with like, let's spice things up. Not only just make reservations, just dress up somewhere.
We did that about a month ago when we left to Vegas, right? We do that.
Right.
And we spent some time together there. And then we did a local staycation where we went to the W. And we went the night before. We had some dinner and went back to the hotel, got up early and went among our day. And then as we were updating our condo, we kind of brought those things, we merged those things together.
Right. And that's kind of how it all ended up. We ended up being on the same page. We're like, we need to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah.
We're still very much into each other. We still love each other. We still find each other attractive. We still, so mmany things. And I think this is just an addition to.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having fun. I'm having a blast.
I love it. I love it. And we both looked at each other and we're like, dude, this is like the most, like the best investment ever that we've come into a relationship with. And it's insane just because we'd had to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We did a whole change of scenery. We did everything. It's our place.
It's our place.
It's our place, yeah. And we don't go just to lay back. We go in to have fun.
Yeah.
And like if we just met each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's awesome actually. I mean,
and I literally put a post on there like, hey, I invite you on date nights to my condo.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we both agreed on it. It was more my idea where I was like, hey, I'm going to go in and fix it up. I want to keep it.
Yeah.
And you were like, are you sure you want to keep it? Yeah, I want to keep it. So somebody always has to make that move. You can't wait for the other person because you might not be on the same page. So sometimes we're waiting for the other person to be romantic, the other one to do it. And that was me. And I remember what I did. I set family date nights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've never do this. But that's just not who
you
are.
What I liked about it is like we do either the staycations or go out for that for that same type of feeling, right?
Right.
That's the reason why we would go out of town to
Right.
stay at a hotel to have that same type of feeling. I think a lot of couples do that, where they either do a staycation or go out often.
Well,
And I
that's
think
what
we
they
got-
do the date night. They do
Yeah.
the date night to get away. They do. That's what the reason for it.
Yeah.
Ours is that, but we needed to spice it up a little bit more.
And the thing is, it's like I think this is important because we would do that often before, but I
Right.
think we got away from that, right? And this now allows us to be able to do it more often, where now it's like a weekly thing where we're planning to do something, getting dressed up, and then knowing that we have a destination afterwards. And I think this is something that's important. So even if you don't want to go all out and get a condo or whatever, but making those reservations, I know like if you want to stay connected, like having that time together, I think is very important, right?
Right.
So even making those hotel reservations, just so you can get out of the monotony of the home life, right? Because with the home life, there's a lot of responsibilities. So even though you may have the house to yourself or you do something or try to do something discreetly,
Yeah.
there's still that whole thing. It is like the home full of responsibility, the home
Yeah.
full of, problems and issues that do arise. But when you go to a separate location, I think that's why most couples do it. And we just took it to a little bit different level that now we have our own, we have our own place that we converted what we bought, 4 or 5 years ago, and then just decided, hey, this is mine and your hangout spot.
I think our situation is not different. I'm sure many go through it, but in our situation, I work with you. I see you every day.
Every day.
Every single day. And we're the best of friends and the
Worst of enemies.
and the worst of enemies and great business partners
Yes.
and the best of business partners.
Yes.
So, and we love each other very dearly, but I got to tell you, when I get home, I come home to you and I see you, and it's always, and I know that we've said this in previous podcasts where, hey, leave business life at home, at business, and leave your personal life and at home, separate them. But there are times, in all honesty, that we sometimes can't do that. We have a tough week, we have a tough month, that we have to bring business into the personal.
Right.
It's just part of life. It's part of us being business owners and partners. So I saw this investment a little different. It was just like, hey, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more than just me going to a movie with you. I need a little bit more than just me going to a romantic dinner or just an event that we go to and we got to dress up. I need a little bit more. I don't want to go home just yet.
Yes.
And so I've worked very, very hard. I've invested. I've in so many other areas. I think now I need to invest more in my marriage.
Yes.
Because I'm not getting what I want out of my marriage from you. Because sometimes you tend to drift a little bit. We'll be at dinner and you bring up business. We'll bring out a movie and you're emailing or on your phone. And I'm at fault 100% as well.
Right.
Because the days you're not, I am. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm tired of being the one that's always moving forward on, hey, let's go out to a movie. Let's go out to dinner. So in this situation, I'm like, pack your bags. We're going to the condo.
Yeah.
No kids, no nothing, just you and I. There's no even TV at the condo. It's
Right,
just
yeah.
nicely designed just for you and I to disconnect whenever we damn well please. We don't need to
Right.
get on a flight. We don't need to do anything. We're just disconnecting
Just
from
there.
everything and just you and I looking at each other and being the best of
Being present.
Yeah.
Is going back to
best
the
of us.
core.
Yeah.
Going back to the core, what all of us got attracted to with our spouse, right?
Right.
There was a physical attraction. There was an emotional. There was a mental attraction. But I think we try to say, well, through thick and thin, we try to say, well, I love her with all my heart, or him. But there's still got to be that physical attraction.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of marriages do get comfortable in just allowing themselves not to grow themselves, right?
Right.
And they use each other as crutches.
Right.
So if one person overeats, it gives permission to the other person. If they gain weight, if they don't care about certain things, about growing, about expanding, about developing their business, and the other person kind of follows suit.
Right.
So all we simply did is we went back to when we first met each other, kind of like 20
Yeah.
years, where we were so ambitious. Like if we start thinking about how we were in our 20s, we were just so ambitious. I think for the most part, I think that's where most of the ambition derives from.
Yeah.
Not being almost naive to how the world operates and
Right.
saying, hey, we're going to do all these great things. And then we get into the monotony of work or marriage,
Right.
and it just becomes, I don't know, just going through the
I
motions.
know for me it was a point like and I go through a roller coaster of this, of like being very selfish. I don't want to disconnect from you. I don't want to disconnect from my life or from anybody or my kids or whatever. I'm very selfish and I want you. I want you for a good 2 days. Like just you. I mean, that's how madly in love I am with you in a relationship portion of it.
I'm feeling a little used, but all right.
And you should.
I can take it.
Yeah. And so I want that part of you. I don't want the business part of you. And it's very hard for that. And it goes your way too. I mean, there's times that you even told me just yesterday, I go in your office sometimes and you don't even look at me. You don't. And it's like, because I'm working. Yeah. And so we're constantly feeling.
We were actually having a conversation about that. We were like, do we want an office?
Do we want an office next to each other? And when we end up moving and, we end up building, like, do we want an office right next to each other?
Right.
And we see that it works, that we are right next to each other. But we get so offended sometimes when you go in my office and I'm like typing away and you're like, I'm talking. I'm like, but you're also in my office and I'm still working. And you just did it to me where I go in your office and you're working. And so we do it to each other. And that's kind of the part that I'm like, when I'm ready to disconnect, sometimes you're not. When you're ready to disconnect, sometimes I'm not. So where can we find each other in the middle? It's like this condo seemed to be like, I don't want to disconnect, but I want to disconnect to be so selfish to just keep you to myself for 2 freaking days. Yeah. And I want to make sure that it's fully equipped, that we're not having any worries on the side of it. Yeah. So we're just disconnecting, I guess, from everything, from the world. And
we're disconnecting, yet we're connecting.
Right. Right.
And I think that's vital. And over the last 3-4 weeks, it's been really, really awesome, because from that, other things that we have real conversations about what we want in the relationship, right? Right. It's not ultimatums by any means, but it's really like desires of what can continue this bond. And one of the things I told you is like every morning, like I want to be, I'd like for you to have some type of physical contact.
And I love that, because I'm this type of person. I like my own space.
Oh, I like my own space too.
No, I know, but I like my own space where I'm on one side of the bed and you're on the other side of the bed. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. It just means that's just how I function. I sleep with my own sheet. I don't like to share it with you. Right. So that's how I function. But I love that you were honest with me at dinner, and we were at the condo and we were kind of, talking to each other, and you had told me, so what do you want from me? I don't know how we started that conversation, but you said, every morning I want you to cuddle up to my back and, tell me all these things. And those are all things that are true. They really are. But hold on, let me explain. The way you describe
it sounds like I'm like this.
No, because I want to explain this to people. I want to explain this to people. I want to
explain
this.
Not the way I remember, but okay.
No, you did. You said, I want you to cuddle up to me and tell me all these things, which, by the way, all those things are true that you told me to tell you. And I tell you those all the time, but I'm not on a consistent basis. But let me tell you on how I wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning literally bouncing my body off the bed. And I'm like already moving at 1,000 miles an hour. And you are the person that tries to show some affection. You try to give me a kiss on the forehead, or you try to hold me and you say, I hope you have a good day. And I'm just like, you could already feel my energy of like this, get away from me. I got things to do.
Like the anxious side of you.
Like that part of me. So you want the part of like, hey, slow down, tell me how much you love me, because I do love you. Mm-hmm. I do, and I think I tell you that enough. But I'm not trying to make you seem like this. I want this. No, you're not a needy. You're not at all. I'm very like I don't know.
No, like, you're like real edgy. Like you're always constantly on the go.
Right.
And I think one of the things that I think as men, and maybe I'm speaking for all men, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I think there's a certain part of us that want to make sure that we're appreciated on a consistent basis, right? Because, for the most part, we're still considered the breadwinners, the hunters, right? And we want to make sure that things at home, the things that happen behind the walls, are in a good place, that we have this full support of our spouses.
But that's the same thing like me telling you, I'm very selfish. So that's like me saying, I don't want to seem like I'm needy, AZ. No, the reality is, hey, I told you I need that condo. I need to invest in it because I need you to myself for about 1 or 2 days. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm needy. Yeah. It just means that's exactly what I am. I'm on the edge all the time. Yeah. I'm on the edge. No, I'm always on a go. So what I want to do is, and I move forward on this where it's like, and that's why I got the condo. That's why we were settled in there. I want you to know how much I love you, and 2 days are committed for me to you. Like, and so, and all you ask, and you're not a needy man, and you ask me, hey, in the morning, I need you to tell me all these little nice things. And I'm like, I need to, I know, because I am on edge. And so you're always like, I'm going to stay away from her because she's on a go and I don't want to interrupt her.
Yeah, and that's what's happened because...
Right, so neither of us are needy in this relationship. We're just saying, hey, this is what I want. Yeah. And it's not an expectation. It's like, this is what I want. This is what I need. I'm like, all right, I'm willing to give it to you. because I've always wanted to, but you just got to tell me to slow down.
Yeah.
Just like I told you, I need you to disconnect and give me 2 days with you. Just like you said, hey, I want you to wake up in the morning and cuddle with me.
No, and it's right. But in order to get to this level of communication, we had to provide ourselves space, right?
Right.
If we're only having these conversations in the household, right, where all these other responsibilities and stresses come about, right? We have kids, we have things that, and especially right now, like there's a full-on remodel going on. It just doesn't create that space to really process the thoughts or the conversations. But being out, where an Uber picks us up, where we're going to a nice dinner, maybe have a glass of wine or whatever it may be, it opens up the conversation, but it allows it to flourish because we now have a destination, kind of like a hotel if you go out of town, and that's been key. And I like where it's going because it does gives us that just me and you type of thing.
And I had to make things work on how my brain functions and what works for me. Because I'm going to say this. Yes, we go out of town. Yes, we disconnect and we spend time. But I still have to come home to unorganized, disorganization of, getting our luggages unpacked, the laundry, the kids, and all this other stuff. Now it's like I want to disconnect that 1 or 2 times a week where I have a place that I don't need to bring anything home other than myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, leave it out there. They're cleaning it. They're doing my laundry at the condo. I don't care what's left.
Yeah.
I'm there. That's where I live. And I also live, in my other house. So now I'm able to just put on my heels in the morning, go get some breakfast with you, brush my teeth, and head home.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. Nothing to unpack, no headaches, no nothing. So I had to make things work on the way it would work for me to give you that love and that patience without coming home from a trip and being like, okay, damn, I'm behind and I still have to do this and I still have to do that. Now I'm just like totally just coming home with my heels in my hand, a full tummy of breakfast with you, spending time, endless hours, and be like, cool, I'm home and I'm calm and collected, and that works for me.
And it's been working for us, and so I think for anyone listening, especially if you've been in a relationship for 5-10 years, I think we tend to forget or appreciate the other person, and having these really intentional date nights, having a place to go outside of that, even investing in your marriage means spending money. So if you need to get to a hotel to really just enjoy each other's companies as adults, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, like this is part of the game. This is part of the process. I think it's well worth it. And now we've just discovered that doing it often actually takes the marriage to another level, right? Doing it every once in a while, well, it's not sustainable because we all face those pressures, especially those entrepreneurs out there, the small business owners, to be able to disconnect and have a destination, whether it is a hotel, whether it is a quick trip or a staycation, or like in our case, a condo.
I think in other words, you have to do what works for you, because I know when I've spoken to a lot of people who do this whole date night, the male normally comes home, gets dressed, takes a shower, and is ready to go. Mm-hmm. The female is the one, and it can be the other way around, but for the most part, the female comes home and she has to worry about everything else she has to do before she starts.
Who's going to take care of the kids?
Right. Who, the return of the coming home, and either the nanny was there taking care of them, so now she has to clean up because the kids made a mess and all these things. There's still a headache behind coming back from home, from date night or leaving to date night. Mm-hmm. There's always that headache where the male is just like, okay, and the females are the ones that always have to go through this crazy madness. So it's like to some, it's like, what's the point? I'm too tired to go to date night. I'm too tired because of the aftermath or the before. So you have to just go in what works for you, and it's not such a pain in the butt to go into the date night, a couple of times a week. But again, I don't like to call it date night. I just don't. I don't like that name so much. I know a lot of people do. It's not my thing. I like to go out whenever I freaking feel and please. So the condo just became like an added bonus.
Yeah.
To
we do have something planned already for Friday, which is kind of cool. So whether you like calling it a date night or not, I guess it's a little mini vacation.
Right, because I do things with you every day.
Yeah.
We're always out and about. So what date night means, I guess, is a connection, I guess. I feel like I have that with you every time, every day, but it's going a little deeper now on these staycations.
And it's fun.
It's
fun. I mean, I'm really enjoying it, being able to kind of have that same type of connection we did when we first met, where it's kind of a lot of, just enjoying each other's company and really just having a good time with each other. I think that's something we all go through episodes of that.
I guess, you know why I don't like to call it date night? I guess because it puts pressure. the pressure of the word, like I don't like it. So I just I like to feel like that boyfriend and girlfriend. Hey, let's go out.
Yeah,
kind of.
Let's go out.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense a little bit?
All right.
Like, hey, let's go out.
Yeah.
So I guess, and someone once told me that I don't like to call it date night. I like to call it let's go out. It's like, hey, let's go out. Let's hang out. I'm like, that's so cool. And it's so true. It's that pressure. I guess it's just in my mind. It's my thing. But yeah, thought I would throw that out there.
Yeah. All right. But again, I guess the whole point here of the conversation is just, do the things with intention, not just to get through the motions or just to check it off your list. And I think we fell into that trap, just checking it off our list. Okay, let's go to this date or let's go out together. And now it's like, we both look forward to it, and it's really cool. And
I think the pressure now is on more than ever because we have so much going on, that this came at a perfect time.
Yeah.
It really did. You know how when our business, everything is growing around us, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many massive changes going on right now.
Yeah.
In our personal and business. And most, you can think like, okay, let's sit back a little bit. Let's cool it because we have a lot of things going on. It's like, no, we need to step it up a little bit because you and I need to spend more than ever away from home, away from business, away from everything so we can be more clear-headed.
Yes.
And put more in our relationship. Well, so the busier you are, the more you should put into that relationship.
I think this is the way to almost release the stress, right? The stresses of marriage compiled with the stresses of parenting, of business, of healthy living. I think this is a way to kind of lower that stress because if we're constantly at capacity with our stress levels, we cannot grow from there, right? We're trying to fix the stuff that is broken, the stuff that's not working. We're constantly running around just overwhelmed. But finding ways like through exercise to lower that stress, finding ways in your marriage by going out on these intentional date nights or staycations, it lowers the stress. So now we're able to see bigger opportunities, not only within our marriage, but in other aspects of our life. So this is a good way to do that. And it's a great investment. I think that investment will pay its dividends in other ways, and which it has in our marriage. And now we've also had great conversations about where we're going with the business and everything else of that nature. So it's been good, Carla. It's been good. I'm having fun with you.
I'm having fun going out with you.
Okay.
Not date nights,
all right.
by the way.
There it is.
I love fun going out with you.
It is. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Spicing Things Up. And I think...
I got great plans for us on Friday, too, by the way.
Yeah? All right. Yeah. I thought we already made plans. You got better plans?
Oh, they got better.
Okay, cool.
After looking at that chain right now right in front of me, some great ideas popped in my head. I got some
no more
ideas.
Tucking it in.
No more baby cakes.
I'm just going to flaunt it. Like, I feel
That's right.
I got that swag.
That's right.
That's how I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So you've seen that necklace. Anytime you see a guy like that, that means he's got swag.
He's got game.
He's got game. I got game. I hid it for many years. But look at your smile. Look how you're looking at me. I deserve to wear this out.
I'm like combing my hair.
I know, right?
Looking at you.
Look at that. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Do the Work Podcast. I'm going to remind you to rate, subscribe, and review. And also visit our website, dothework.com, and sign up for updates. We have great events coming up for both the women's side and the real estate edition side. So keep an eye out for that. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.